right, it's good to have you join us this morning. Good morning and welcome to this edition of Real Estate Today on Splash FM 105.5 here in the city of Ibadan. Remember, it is the first meeting on the program for this month, the month of March. Today is the first day in the month of March 2021. On this program, we bring you information on real estate, property, land and housing, letting and sales, as well as the legal aspects of buying and selling of property, including rights issues between tenants and landlords, among other things. My name is Michael Olatunbosun. I say good morning and welcome once again. So last week I started this conversation on the federal government's plan to sell some public property and non-oil assets to serve as additional source of financing the 2021 budget. Remember that the government is looking for additional source of finance for the 2021 budget of 13.5 trillion naira, and it has listed at least 36 of its properties to raise funds, essentially to fund the budget. These properties are cut across energy, industries, communication, infrastructure sector. In a document seen by the Premium Times, top among those properties are the Abuja Environmental Protection Board, the Abuja International Conference Center, and some unnamed refineries, the Transmission Company of Nigeria, Abuja Water Board, Nigerian Film Corporation, among others. I remember that I was saying last week that I'll open the phone lines. Of course, I'm expecting to have guests in the studio. I'll be bringing the guests into the program in a moment. I know that a lot of conversations have gone down, particularly on this issue. Don't forget that there's also the issue of seized assets that the government has also, talked about offloading. And I remember that in the last 2 weeks, I talked about this matter. I previously talked about, I brought you the perspective of a quantity surveyor, for instance, and the national chairman of the quantity surveyors, who was saying that has the government been able to do sufficient justice to, valuation, for instance, of this property? So that's one of the questions that I'll be bringing to the table today. Valuation of the properties, as well as counting the cost of this property. Why should the government be selling itself? Why should the government be selling public property? Why is the government not focusing on expanding, for instance, the tax net, and also diversifying the economy? This government particularly has been noising this idea of diversifying of the economy. How has that not been able to bring the needed succor to the economy to the extent that the government needs to sell property? Those are some of the questions that we'll be tackling on the program today. Real estate on Splash FM 105.5. I have a commercial break. When I come back, I'll open the lines and get my guest talking as well. Please don't go away.
Amatem soft gel wà fún ìtọ́jú àrùn ibà tí ara rẹ kò bá yá lẹ́yìn ọjọ́ mẹ́ta lọ rí dókítà rẹ.
Ó yá gbogbo èèyàn pẹ̀lú oríṣiríṣi ara yín ẹ̀mú ohunkóhun tọ́wọ́ yín bá bà ìbá àjọmọ́rogùn síbi onírin àní ohunkóhun ẹ jẹ́ ká ṣeré ìdárayá ọ̀pá arúgbó lọ́wọ́ tiẹ̀ bá ìyẹn náà bàjẹ́ kò sí gírì. ẹ dúró ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ jẹ́ kẹ́ sáré sẹ́tì ìdí ẹ̀mú náà. Ó yá ẹjọ́ bọ́dì. Gbogbo èèyàn la pèsè eré ìdárayá afọkàntara lókun nínú ìdíje 3 Crowns Make Fitness Challenge. Amárata kébé ọlọ́gbọ̀n ọjọ́ forúkọsílẹ̀ lónìí ní www.femininelounge.com/competition.
3 Crowns Milk. Healthy moms, happy families.
right, you're welcome back. It's still Real Estate Today on Splash FM 105.5. This morning, the first day and the first Monday in March, essentially, and the first day indeed in the month of March 2021. Okay, so I was saying that apart from engaging in domestic and foreign borrowings for the budget, the federal government also recently confirmed that it would sell some government-owned properties. And I said that before that break, I was saying if indeed the government understands the intricacies of offloading some public property just in the name of funding the budget. So what happens next year? So if we sell this property to fund the 2021 budget, what happens to the 2022 budget? What are we going to sell? Those are some of the questions that I thought we will ask today on the program, Real Estate Today on Splash FM 105.5, 080-9155-1055, 0805-699-8678, and 07069493000. Those are the numbers. If you'd like to join the conversation this morning, I'm willing to listen to you. I told you that I'll take your calls. I'll also get my guests into the fray on the program today. 0809-155-1055, 0805-699-8678, and 07069493000. Those are the numbers to call if you'd like to talk to me now. So I was talking about the government's attempt to sell public property. I remember that Comrade Sunday Abbas spoke with me last time, and he was saying that the government should not be selling public property. Rather, the government was employed by the people, or is employed by the people to manage the property of the government, of the public. So maybe it's because we always say public government property and the rest of it. That's why we are always talking about some of these things. Let me bring to the microphone Surveyor Olusegun Afolayan. Welcome this morning, sir.
Good morning.
I was talking, before you came into the studio, I was talking about the government's plan to sell public property to fund the 2021 budget. You are a professional in the real estate sector. I want you to talk to us. What are your thoughts about selling public property to fund the budget?
Now, two things I want us to really understand about funding projects and the aspect of government assets. You see, when you want to fund a project or anything that's on ground, that's lying there and fallow, you have to introduce wisdom and the law guiding everything that has to do with buying and selling of government property.
Okay.
Another issue I want us to know is that the government must be transparent throughout every process that has to do with selling government property.
Okay, so you think that the government can sell government public property in the first instance?
They can't.
They can't?
They can't.
Okay.
Why they can't is on two occasions. If the property is very, very important for public use and is going to help the public to live a good life with good amenities, with good infrastructure, and help to develop a new set of category of infrastructure to maintain the standard of or the development of a country. You need to preserve some certain assets. Now, if you need to sell any asset, then it must be an asset that has been redundant.
Redundant asset that can be sold.
Completely redundant. That cannot even benefit you and I. There are vehicles, there are a lot of things that have been abandoned. There are. Now, let us look at some categories of assets. We talk about government reserved area, acquisitions, and all other aspects of landed properties that belongs to government. Talking about state and federal. Now, I want to tell you that there are some properties that has no value again when it is just standing alone. Is standing alone, there's no proper maintenance, there's no specific boundary guiding the property, there's no control over the management, and there's nobody creating awareness for people to know that this place, this is what we want to use it for. It makes it look as if there's a political propaganda I don't know if you understand what I mean by propaganda. I mean, people are using it to just play pranks on people. Now you can see that so many people are just hiding behind who is going to handle this, who is not going to handle it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So based on what you said, that government can't sell assets, but they can if the asset is redundant. Yes. I was saying that the function of government itself is to maintain and run public property. So why should property be redundant in the first instance?
Like what I said, we have this issue of government not being transparent.
Okay.
I'm sorry to use not being transparent, but it's just the truth. The truth has been said. If there's no transparency, we will not understand what is going on. Now, I said something about creating awareness, proposing things, bringing ideas. Okay, this oil reserve, this forest reserve, this low cost, high cost, how are they managing them? Okay. Who are those? Are they being assigned to some people to manage them? Who are the agency managing them? What are the results? We should start thinking of what is going to happen in the next 10, 5, 20 years. Then we can now say it is not redundant.
Okay.
Maintenance, renovations, and a lot of things guiding and backing up the use of that asset can make people know that, yes, we can sell or we cannot sell.
Okay, so I know that in the list of properties the government would like to sell, for instance, in a document that Premium Times, I saw this on Premium Times, it says that there's some of the property are the Abuja Environmental Protection Board, the Abuja International Conference Center, yes, some unnamed refineries, the Transition Company of Nigeria, Abuja Water Board, Nigerian Film Corporation, among others. I know that, towards the end of the administration of Olusegun Obasanjo, he, put up for sale some of the refineries.
Yes.
And when the Yar'Adua government came in, it reversed this sale and returned money to this consortium that, bought the refineries. Till now, the refineries have been in coma. They've not produced anything, and we're spending about 10 billion naira every month to, manage, just like your word, redundant refineries. Yes. So now, but a lot of Nigerians are saying, no, it's not right to sell, even though the refineries are not bringing in anything, but they are sucking from the government pockets. You think that in the case of these refineries, the government can, sell them off, right?
Okay. Now, let me start from saying, there's no smoke without fire. You see, for our Baba Obasanjo to have brought that idea up, I'm very sure we have a lot of let me say debts. The country has whole a lot of debt. We have been having challenges meeting up with our financial and our economic standards. And he has to look at what are those assets that we have that can generate money to settle these issues of debts, problem, challenges. He can come up without that. Oh, this asset, let's not leave it redundant. Let's do something about it. Let's generate fund.
Okay.
That is one. Two, while talking about oil, like the Ajaokuta or some other things that have been given out, that have been privatized and other things, well, that is to tell you technology is advancing, civilization is advancing. When we ourselves cannot manage it very well, what do you want us to do?
Okay. All right, so let's talk about the Nigerian Institution of Surveyors for a moment.
All right.
You are a member of the Nigerian Institution of Surveyors,
yes,
and the Oyo State branch for that matter.
Yes.
Number one, what role are professional bodies like yours? What role are they assigned, for instance, in the scheme of this thing that we are talking about? Do you have any engagement to be able to advise on, particularly valuation of some of these things, to be able to have proper stock of government property and all other things around this matter? What are these roles that you guys have played or are playing?
Thank you very much. Now, number one thing is, mind you, we are more or less like agents for the government.
Okay.
We are working for the federal government of Nigeria, and we we follow instructions. Now, if we have issues on managing government properties, it has to come from the governor of the state, because according to the land tenure system, all land is bestowed on the hands of the governor.
Yeah.
So, but there's something that is done within our professional bodies. All the professional bodies, we meet and we hold meetings based on land reforms, and a lot of lectures, a lot of new developments, issues rectified, problem solving about landed properties have come up on various lectures. And it has been also broadcast in newspapers, papers, and radios, telling people what we can generate from land. Look at during the time of President Yar'Adua, talking about 7-point agenda. You know, it has to do with more on land, protecting our land as the bedrock of the country. You know, you have to do a lot of things to protect and preserve your land. Now, we meet as professionals. We discuss on how to manage all these assets and properties, but the problem is the implementation. The implementation is the major problem. I've read so many land reforms, so many lectures, so many things on people advising, suggesting, observing, but how many have been implemented? I want to tell you now that it takes the grace. It takes the power of the governor to support the implementation of anything that has to do with the asset of a state, and it's also applicable to the federal government. Whatever they say is what is going to be done. If you bring no matter what you present, if it is not accepted, it cannot be implemented.
Okay, so implementation issues. For me, my interpretation of your explanation of these implementation issues has to do with a lack of consultation, proper consultation and synergy between the government and the professional bodies. That's my own interpretation. I hope I'm correct.
Yes, you are close.
Okay, so what efforts are these professional bodies, including yours, making to maybe, if the governments are not forthcoming, that you can, really turn up and say, we have a plan on implementation. We have a plan on how to, carry out, policy. We have a plan. How far are you going, or are your own professional bodies not thinking that way? Maybe you are just waiting for the government to come and say, hey, Joe.
Like what I said, a lot of proposals have been written to the state government. A lot of proposals have been written to the federal government. I'm telling you right now, in Nigeria, most people are working seriously to execute so many projects. They just want an approval. Let me use Oyo State as an example.
Okay.
Talking about the program of the homeowners, you will see that it's actually working well. The state is generating funds, and we have a lot of projects on ground, and there are landed properties that are not supposed to be acquired by individuals because they are government acquisitions, and they are reserved areas. You see, so we need to come in to create awareness that these properties are not meant to be occupied by individual. It is meant for public use, but for reserved issues, like game reserve, like forestry, like tourist centers. It's going to help the development and the exposure of the state. So that's the way I look at it. Then talking about the ideas from individuals, registered surveyors, and professionals, I want to tell you that we have been working. Look at the database that has been created now for the certificate of occupancy. You can see that it's going to help when it comes to sensors, when it comes to managing of infrastructures, so without the surveyors, you find it difficult to know where these landed properties are. So, and you can also help to study the road paths. the roads, the third roads, the bad roads, and so many other things that can help the development of the state.
All right, it's still real estate today on Splash FM 105.5. Our commercial break, a momentary one. I'll be back in a moment. Please don't go away.
Amatem Softgel wà fún ìtọ́jú àrùn ibà tí ara rẹ kò bá yá lẹ́yìn ọjọ́ mẹ́ta lọ rí dókítà rẹ.
All right, it's still real estate today on Splash FM 105.5 here in the city of Ibadan. Savio Afolayan Richard Olusegun is still with me. He's a member of the Nigerian Institution of Surveyors Oyo State branch, as well as the MD CEO of Data Extract. I hope I got that limited. Okay, let's return to initial matter of the sale of government property. Now, I remember listening to I think is the president, the national president of the Nigerian Institutions of Estate Valuers and I think Estate Valuers and Surveyors or something of that sort, who was saying that the professional body was not consulted by the government in the first instance to value these properties before you can say you want to sell. And this is a recurring thing in the scheme of things in this country. Are we going to be able to get the government to listen to professional bodies indeed? Do you think that we'll be able to get the government to really listen to professional bodies? You have made some points here now.
Yes.
How do you think we, all of us, as critical stakeholders in this matter, can get the government to listen to say there are some property that you cannot sell? Of course, you can sell some because of redundancy, they become moribund. But we need to put our feet down.
Yeah.
Are we going to be able to get that done?
Well, like what we're doing, this is the first stage, and you are presenting it. We are online. I'm very sure the whole world is listening. That is number one. Number two, we can always make proposals.
Proposal, that's all?
No, you start with a proposal. Let us listen to their response. Let us get their response. Let us see their reaction. Then, as professional bodies, we meet and hold, like what we usually do. We meet, we hold, we discuss, we lay down our budgets and our agendas, and we say, this is what we want to achieve. There must be an agreement. If there's an agreement, this is what we want, then it is easy for us to convey the message to the government. Now, when it comes to recommendation, then we can have one or two issues, because everybody wants to get there. Everybody wants to get there. So we need to understand the fact that there should be an agreement. Who is going to lead? Who is going to convey the message? Who is going to do it? Now we have the chairman, we have the directors, we have the boards, we have those who are ruling, the executives. They are there for us. We are all representing the government. They can always convey these challenges, these issues to the government. Who is this government we're talking about? You and I, with the governor. Now, if we present these issues to the governor, let him know this is what is going on. He can now decide on what to do next.
Okay, so based on recommendations and the rest of it, that they can now decide on what they'd like to do next. And I'm hoping that what they will do next will be for the betterment of the greater part or greater number of the people. How is the Nigerian Institution of Surveyors dealing with quirks in the industry?
Well, that's a very sensitive thing, and I want to tell you that most of us, we started as quack. In quotes. I want to tell you that, when I say we started as quack, I want to tell you that before you become a technician, you must have fallen in love with the profession. Okay. You must have seen people running around with instruments that have to do with surveying, and you want to do something like that. Before you know, you start practicing as a quack. Now, I want to come in by saying they are human beings like us. We love them. Okay. They are quack, fine, yes. They want to know. They want to get the ideas. we need to create a forum and bring these people to our standard.
Okay,
and
bring them to your standard.
Yes.
So
let them understand the rules and the constitutions guiding all these activities, the profession and the surveying.
Okay, we have to stop there now. I'd like to say thanks to you for coming. You've raised some issues that we'll have to talk about again. So pretty soon we'll bring these matters again to the microphone. I'd like to say thanks to Surveyor Folayan Richard Olusegun, MNIS, Nigerian Institution of Surveyors, Oyo State Branch. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
He's also the MD CEO of Data Extract Limited. I'd like to say thanks to you for coming. And I'd like to thank you for listening as well. You can join me next Monday for another edition of the program Real Estate Today on Splash FM 105.5 Ibadan. If you have a question or query, in case you'd like to sponsor, send me a text message 0805-699-8676 or email Olatunbosun1-03-2021. My studio manager is Desmond Adegboyega Popola. My name is Michael Olatunbosun. Enjoy the rest of the day.